Yes, welcome back to the channel. Savva here from Football Heritage TV, joined by Lawless from West Ham Fan TV, the first West Ham, the first Iron that we have had on. How are you, mate? You well?
Yeah, mate, I'm good. I'm good. It's good to be on. Really curious about what the hell you're going to ask me. It's so I'm looking forward to it. It's something different from the usual. You know, we sit on StreamYard for an hour and talk about all the week's football games.
Yeah. This is not that, and I suppose listen for you, for everybody in the chat. This is 10 in 10 with FHTV. We get YouTubers, ex-pros, pundits, everybody from across the football world to come in. They get 10 questions. They get a minute to answer each question. There's no rights or wrong. This is their opinion. This is up to them. They decide. Nothing to do with me. Let's get cracking into it. You ready for question number one?
I'm ready.
Nice, easy one. Here we go. Who's the best West Ham manager in the Premier League era and why?
Oh, you say that's an easy one. Jeez.
Easy one.
I've
Harry
got
Redknapp, in it?
It's between Redknapp, Pardew, and Moyes. But Moyes has the silverware. I can't, and he's finished in Europe. It's a tough one. He's played the worst football out of all three, but the results speak for themselves. A lot of West Ham fans would be surprised to hear me say that. I've got to go with Moyes. Can't believe that
Moyes.
one.
I genuinely thought, he's gonna go Redknapp. But I mean, who else would you have put in there? Like other than those three, I can't. No one stands out to me, if you know what I mean. There was no one that I'd go, him as well.
No, not really. Yeah, we had a great final season at Upton Park with Bilic, but it was just that season.
Yeah.
Good cup run, great final season, but yeah, it's a real tough one. Like obviously, Pardew came within seconds of winning us the FA Cup. If he won that, he cemented as the number one. Redknapp brought through some great youngsters, some world class talent through the academy, and played some great football at the same time. But so it's a real tough one. Before the trophy, I would have said Redknapp or Pardew, but he won the trophy.
There you go, David Moyes. David Moyes is the answer. Nice, easy one here as well. The best West Ham player in the Premier League era.
I'm going to have to go with Di Canio. I think there's a few there. Dimitri Payet comes out, stands out. We've had some quality, but Paolo Di Canio was an absolute pleasure to watch week in, week out. The things he did with the football was amazing. So It's a tough one for me. He's West Ham through and through. I'm going with Paolo.
So it's a big shout. I did think you might go with him, but I was looking at some of the players that have come out of West Ham over the last 25 years, whatever. Rio Ferdinand, Jermaine Defoe, Michael Carrick. You've had some players, haven't you? You've had some good players.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I just feel like those players that you've mentioned, the only reason I wouldn't, that if they'd had their best years at West Ham, I probably would have said them, but they weren't. They weren't their best at West Ham. So if we'd have had Rio, the Man United Rio, and he was that good at West Ham, he was still good, but still West Ham shirt. That's what I've got to go with. So yeah, Di Canio did amazing things in a West Ham shirt.
There you go. Yeah, God, what a player he was, by the way. Where will West Ham finish this season and why? Obviously, now we've had 13 games. You're doing well. You're up in the top 7, 8 now. Where are you finishing?
Look, I've said 7th all along. I'm sticking with it. It's going to be tough. It's a tough ask, but we seem to be grinding out results. I think the January transfer window, getting in a striker it's going to be massively dependent on that. But we've got some quality players. Bowen's on fire. Kudus is looking like a brilliant signing.
Yeah,
and that could just get us over the line. It looks like we're going to potentially win the group with a game to spare in Europe, and then we miss around in the Europa League. So that's all there, but that is dependent on us going out and getting a striker. That has to be number one priority because it can't be Danny Ings up front. So I'm going to stick with 7th. If we don't sign a striker, I think we'll drop down a couple of places because there's some stiff competition there. Brighton and Chelsea, see how they're doing for that 7th point.
7. I'd love you lot to finish above Chelsea. Away from West Ham, this next question, the age-old debate. The internet loves it, has loved it for years. Kids throw their toys out of pram with this one. Who was better for you in their prime? Is it Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, and why?
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Like I think the best pure footballer is Messi. He's the best, pure as a pure footballer. Amazing to watch. But to see the career Ronaldo's had, the leagues that he has done it in, several different leagues, and the output he's had, I have to go Ronaldo. And I would lean towards Messi and like Messi more. But if I just go based off that, I lean towards Ronaldo. But they're both, phenomenal players. And Messi winning that World Cup has helped his argument.
Helps cement it, isn't it? Yeah. I think he's adapted his game more as he's got older as well as any old Lionel. But yeah, it's crazy because this debate is one where most people, when you ask them, they find it really difficult to answer it without belittling the other one. It's kind of like just a preference thing. But yeah, listen, I wish my cupboard had either of those. This next one,
both.
Sorry, this next question. I'm getting some really interesting answers. We've done this with about 12 people so far. This is getting some really interesting answers. If you could get rid of one thing from football, what would it be? Now, we've had some crazy answers to this. This can be anything. What would you get rid of?
Arsenal.
Love it. You know that Spurs fans are going to be watching this. Love it. Yeah, let's just get rid of the Woolwich. Love it.
Do you know what? And it's not even pandering, because it's just like this season lately, they're taking over in terms of like the team that the way their fans have been that I hate the most. But yeah, like it's a tough one because you can't get rid of referees. Like I said, a lot of people will say VAR, but it's the refs that is the problem. But off the top of my head, I would say that. And no, do you know what? I think FFP. I'm gonna say, because I think it's anti-competitive. I understand that it can have some safety barriers there for certain clubs that might go crazy and the owners overspend and then get their clubs into hot water because they can't manage their finances. But the way it's in place now, it's there to pull the drawbridge up and to cement the status quo for me. So I would get rid of FFP as it is, I would say.
You're the first one that said that. I like that. We've had some really interesting answers to this. Arsenal was by far the best answer, though. But FFP, love it. Back to West Ham. The worst player you have seen in a West Ham shirt. And there must be some. Because, I mean, we've had some crap at Tottenham, and you must have had some crap at West Ham.
Yeah, we have. I mean, this is a big question because I could be here all day.
Give me a 1 to 11.
I could do a whole 11. Like the Savio, Maiga, Jordan Hugill, which was awful. Most of them are strikers. Most of the worst players. But I'm gonna go with, just because of if I have to pick one, and it's gonna have to be Roberto in goal. When we signed him, that was probably what cost Pellegrini his job. One of the worst goalkeepers, the worst goalkeeper I've ever seen at West Ham. Threw it in the back of the net multiple times. But on any different given day, I could give you different answers because we've had some absolute shockers. But I'm going to go Roberto. We was having a good run he was actually doing well under Pellegrini that season. He got sacked until we got the injury to Fabianski, I think it was, and then for Roberto had to come in, and then we were just awful for ages, and it cost Pellegrini his job.
I was really interested to see who you were going to say is your worst player. You've had a few. We've had loads as well, but we've had loads. But,
it's hard to pick. If you were to pick, say the worst, like in different days, you go, oh, but this one was bad.
I suppose it depends what the worst means to you. Is it the worst technically? Is it the worst lazy? Is it the worst, just temper? I don't know, whatever it may be. But yeah, good answer. Good answer. Who is the best player to have ever played in the Premier League?
Wow.
You can give it 2 or 3 if you want, but we've been getting the same sort of 5 have been coming round. I'll be interested to see if you pick them as well.
Yeah. I think it probably will be, innit? Because you've got the likes of Bergkamp, who was unreal. Cantona, Eric Cantona, Hazard. There's so many that you can point out and say, that is one of the best players. De Bruyne, I think currently that we're looking at, who is unreal. So to pick out the best, obviously Thierry Henry, without blowing smoke up at Arsenal, but in terms of like pure players. But I would
just now,
I'd say
you wanted to get rid of Arsenal, and now you're picking Bergkamp and Henry. And
do you know what? I know I'll get rid of them, but keep their players, and maybe they can play for another club like West Ham.
Yeah.
But but I can't. You can't deny it. And I would say in terms of like pure player, I would say Bergkamp above Henry, just in terms of as a player, and I think Henry probably has. I think he said similar. So yeah, off the top of my head, without thinking of every other player, that he stands out to me. Just from my era of watching football, of just seeing
class.
Best player, but if I really sat and thought about it, and said, you know what, actually, this player, like maybe I would go on a different day, Cantona.
Yeah. Oh, listen, Cantona and Bergkamp were just different level to other footballers. Talking about different level, you've mentioned this player already today, but I want to know who was better for West Ham. Now, I'm not saying who was the better player necessarily, but whose impact was more important. Was it Di Canio with the flair and what he brought to you? Or was it Rice coming through the youth team as a leader, a captain, and winning you a European trophy? Who's your guy? Who's your guy on this one?
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a real tough one because the thing is, Di Canio's impact is, higher up the pitch, it's more obvious when you're getting goals and assists, and just how he raised everyone else's game by being on the pitch. Rice was just very consistent for us, very consistent, and had great games week in, week out. He was part of the team that won that trophy. So I'd probably edge it to Rice. I hate it when people say that Rice won us the trophy. Rice won you a trophy. No, he was part of the team. And he weren't even the top 5 best players in that game, at the time. So, but yeah, it's a tough one. He's obviously come through academy, Rice. So I edge it to him, but yeah, that's a tough one. The trophy, I think, edges it. But yeah, goals and all of that, big moments. Obviously, Di Canio is up there.
I mean, there's a lot of fence sitting going on there. Are we going with Rice or are we going with?
It is. I'm doing it because I'm doing it, but I'm so resistant to do it. It hurts me to do it. But yeah, if I'm being real, 100% honest, I edge it to Rice. Even though, like I said, Di Canio, better player, amazing to watch on the ball, banging in goals. The trophy, like Moyes, the trophy edges it.
Edges it, yeah. Success, absolutely. Success. Last 2 questions. What's the worst football opinion you've heard? Now, just to caveat this, saying this to everyone, this could be from a fellow YouTuber, someone in your comments, a pundit, a manager, a player, a commentator, anyone. The worst opinion you've heard on football.
Oh my God. Now this is a real tough one because we hear a lot of the time, and it will be. I'm sorry, Arsenal fans. I'm not trying to. If you're watching this, I'm really not trying to pick on you, but I'm just got to be honest.
What have they said now?
No, yeah. I mean, you hear a lot of delusional takes week in, week out from their fan base. It's so hard. Like off the top of my head, obviously Ty, and I love Ty from AFTV. I get on with him really well. There was the whole we lost because it was raining.
Love it.
Stands out as like an all-timer, but yeah, there's been some shockers, but it's just off the top of my head, that's the only one that stands out to me. But it's one of those things, you just hear them so many times, a lot of football, none of them stand out a lot of the time because it's just like, oh, here's another one.
I always Twitter, since I've been doing YouTube, you just see them every day. I see comments in my chat and I go, really? Yesterday I was doing a show with Rants and we had so many Arsenal fans in the chat. And it was like, who's world class in the Premier League? And Arsenal fans are going like, this Arsenal player, this Arsenal player, this Arsenal player, this Arsenal player. You're like, hang on, what? But it is what it is. Okay, cool. Listen, I love that. Yeah, it was raining. We'll go with that. It was raining.
Yeah.
And then the last one. What is your most controversial football opinion? So an opinion that you truly believe that, but maybe when you're on YouTube or speaking to your mates or whatever, they're like, Lawless, come on, that what? But you truly believe it yourself. Something really controversial.
Do you know what? The one I've been getting a lot of stick on. I got to remember the details of it, but it's definitely been around Rice.
Right.
Was to do with Arsenal, and him being the one that people seem to take issue with me is when I say, yeah, Arsenal have not made Rice a better player. He's the same player he's always been. He's just at Arsenal, right? That seems to be really controversial, or me saying that Rice isn't necessarily going to be the difference maker that takes them to a title. Right. Things like that. It's like, I'm not saying he's not amazing, but it's usually around that gets me, that is really controversial. Or the other one is that I would let David Moyes go at the end of the season. That's really controversial to non-West Ham fans and half the West Ham. So I could go with that because people are going, Europe 3 seasons in a row, got you a trophy. You know, where I say, well, I let him go because change managers are at a period of stability, not waiting for the wheels to fall off and everything to crash and burn.
Strengthen from a position of strength, not weakness.
Yeah,
right?
That's it. We're right, well done. You've got a stable. Now this is a point to then try and change rather than like, oh no, we're nearly about to get relegated. Let's change and have to build up from scratch. But it's huge. People cannot believe it when I say that because it's like, no, he doesn't deserve it. No, he doesn't deserve to get. He deserves to stay, of course, but deserve don't come into it. So I'm gonna go with that one because that's most clear in my mind. That's quite controversial.
I like it. Okay, well, listen, there we go. That was 10 in 10 from Lawless. So hopefully some good questions that made him think there. I think we're about level now with the Messi-Ronaldo debate as well from all the people we've asked. Look, Lawless, where can people find you? Where can they subscribe to your channel?
Yeah, mate. At the Lawless on Twitter, you can come and connect with me directly, video-wise. West Ham Fan TV on YouTube. We've got some watch-alongs coming up this weekend. Be at the Palace game, fan cams, all of that good stuff. So yeah, come find me there.
There you go, everybody. The link to West Ham Fan TV will be in the bio of this video. Lawless, thank you very much. Really appreciate you taking the time. Everybody, join us next time for 10 on 10. I don't know when this video will be going live, by the way, so good luck to whoever you're playing this weekend. And listen, as always, everybody, come on, you Spurs. Take care.